Hello and welcome to the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast, episode 92.
Episode 92. It's late. Okay, we skipped last week.
So it's early.
You skipped. Really?
No. Yeah, here's how it worked. I couldn't make it, so nobody else did anything.
Because you're our leader.
What?
You're our big toe.
What happened when nobody else could make it last time? I did it by myself.
Because you're the big toe. And I'm sure it was great. I listened to it.
It was great. Hey, I got good feedback.
Did you?
Yeah.
Let's read it. Let's hear some of it.
We have.
Prove it.
It was story time with Jason. We talked about...
So where were you? What's your excuse for not being able to?
Where was I? That was a week ago. I can't remember a week ago.
I'm getting old. I can't remember that.
No, my wife had surgery and I was incapacitated taking care of her and my kids and...
See, now
Your kids should be able to take care of themselves.
You would think.
I would think, yeah.
The 12-year-old, he's okay, but yeah. But when mom can't do anything and she's home alone with the kids, that's a bad combination.
Yeah.
So.
Seeing we didn't pick up the slack, now I feel guilty.
Yeah, as you should.
But I was down in National Park.
Yeah,
I saw some of that. Where'd you go?
Bryce, weren't you?
Bryce Canyon, yeah.
Cool. We were down there last fall.
Where did you stay?
Oh,
At Ruby's?
there was we rented a house.
Oh, cool.
Like one of the
VRBO?
guys. Yeah.
It's probably a good thing because the price for Ruby's, me and my wife stayed in Ruby's about this time last year.
It's stupid.
It's like $250 a night.
Yeah.
Thing is that I'm from Escalante, or at least my mom and dad are, and I've never stayed at Ruby's. And a lot of the people from Escalante go over and work at Ruby's.
Yeah, work at Ruby's.
And do all this stuff. So I thought, let's go stay at Ruby's, just for...
It's not that exciting.
No, it wasn't. So we ended up just staying one night, and then we went down to Zion's or something like
if you
Vegas.
want a cool place to stay on a budget in that area on Highway 12 in Cannonville, I think it is.
Yep.
There is a KOA that rents cabins.
Oh, cool.
They're just... the cabin has
like
a
tiny
little
homes.
Electric heater and beds. That's it. There's no bathrooms or anything.
Common bathroom type thing.
You just poo in a bucket or what?
No, it's a KOA. It's a KOA. So there's showers and bathrooms just down the road or across the way.
Yeah.
But I can't remember how much they were, but we've stayed in them 2 or 3 times, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, and it's a budget.
Actually, let's see, there's Cannonville, Henryville, Tropic.
Yep.
Tropic has like a Days Inn or something like that. It's
really?
It's brand new, and we didn't see it until after.
We went to there's a little restaurant on 12 in Tropic that does all-you-can-eat pancakes. Where we go for breakfast.
Well, with your family, I can imagine that's probably a money saver.
That was more on when we went through, and we've toured it a couple of times on motorcycles.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day.
Oh, you had a motorcycle.
Spent 11 years in a motorcycle shop stand.
No kidding. I guess you should have.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I had a Honda VTX 1100.
Okay.
And then when I went full-time at the Harley shop, they said, we'll just give you a bike to ride. So I rode a V-Rod because I was the only one in the shop who would ride a V-Rod because it's not a real Harley. I'm like, no, you're right. The engine was designed by Porsche. And that thing was a screamer. It was fun. But then my oldest son, when he was 10 or 11, he had a fencing tournament in Cedar City, so we took one of the Harley Road Glide out of the rentals, went to that, and then we spent 4 days going through Bryce Canyon and Zion.
Can't see you with black leather, the wife on the back, and the kid. Where's the kid go?
The wife wasn't off.
Oh, it was just you and your son.
She didn't care for it.
Oh, okay.
It was just me and my son.
That's awesome.
Had the MP3 player plugged into the stereo blaring as we're cruising Highway 12. It was awesome.
Not a Goldwing. You didn't take a Goldwing.
I was at the Harley dealership. They don't sell
that's right.
Goldwings.
I'm sorry. I thought you were at the Honda.
At the Honda shop before that.
Okay. So I came this close to buying a Valkyrie.
Oh,
it's still
sweet.
available. They're $3,000. It's got like
that's dirt
120,000 miles on it, but the guy,
You know what?
it's immaculate.
Let me give you some advice. If you're looking at buying a motorcycle and you have the options of this bike has almost 0 miles on it, it's 5 years old or whatever, or this bike is the same age and it has a ton of miles on it, take the one with a ton of miles.
Because it's well maintained.
It's well maintained.
Yeah.
And especially a Valkyrie where it has 6 carburetors. That's been
geez.
sitting and those carburetors are gummed up.
Yeah.
At least 20 years ago, it would cost you $100 a carburetor to get them rebuilt.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't buy that one.
So,
But anyway, on the
Epic tangent.
yeah. So last week we apologized. No episodes came out. My family was busy. We hiked about 18 miles in Bryce Canyon.
Nice.
It was very awesome, satisfying.
It's a cool area.
I don't know if I would do it again because that park kind of like once you see it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you go to Arches, it's more
There's
rock scrambling, that kind of stuff you can do,
and the terrain can vary.
yeah.
well, there's a lot around Arches. There's
Yeah.
Deadhurst Point, there's Canyonlands, and Zion right there.
Oh, yeah, you can-
I mean, it's all kind of the same stuff, really.
Well, not necessarily.
If you go
Yeah.
south of Escalante down to the Hole in the Rock, there's little goblins. There are
Yep.
some goblins
Yep.
there.
Been
There's
down there a
Coyote
lot.
Gulch.
Yep.
There's sand dunes.
Yeah.
There's the 30-mile
Devil's
dance
Guard.
hall. You can
Yeah.
dance,
Dance Hall Rock.
do a square dance like where the pioneers
Camped
used to.
out there.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. In fact, as soon as I get my Jeep done, I'm going to drive it down there. We're gonna,
Let me know because I plan on doing the same
Are you?
thing. Yep.
Cool.
I had a trip planned. We tried to get out, didn't have the right vehicles, had to turn around. So I.
How bad was it?
It wasn't super bad, but we were in a Suburban and we got to a point where we were going to high center going over something.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
We'll put that on the other. We'll put that on the off-roading
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
With that.
no, seriously, let me know. We want to
like-
go
we
out
wanna
and
go down.
camp out there and go to the actual hole in the rock.
Yeah, I've gone down all the way to the lake and all the way up from the lake too.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yet another tangent.
A lot of history.
Well, let's hit some
Let's
sponsors right now.
listen to Taco.
Okay.
Let's hit some sponsors. NOEBulletMolds.com. Some of the finest bullet molds that exist.
That is the truth. That is the truth. And we're brought to you today by NOE. We're in the NOE,
NOE
studio.
studio.
There's even a concealed taco sign out on front
No,
of the building.
Stan, it's a billboard.
Billboard. It's billboard size.
Let's not downplay.
Concealed-
There is a billboard on the
Concealed
side
Taco
of the building.
Dude's sign on the side of the building. And this
You should
is
drive down and
by
see
far
it.
the best studio we've ever been in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, this is awesome.
I
Yeah,
want,
it sure beats my studio in my my reloading room.
No, that's a close second. But this is
I want listeners
so much more luxurious.
to find the billboard and take pictures of themselves in front of it and then send them to us.
There you go. There you go.
That's awesome. So NOEBulletMolds.com. Use coupon code FLT001 and it'll save you some bucks.
Billions.
Billions and billions.
Billions. Black
Hey.
ice coatings.
Black ice coatings.
The finest gun finishes on the planet.
Did you ever take the holster down
I've
to
not
them?
been down there
Oh,
yet.
gee.
I have been
I
so
thought you guys
busy.
you and Mark were gonna go down there and
Mark was gonna go down there, and he's like, "I'm bringing you mag holders, and then this and that, and he got derailed, and I got derailed,
All right.
And we're all derailed
He
again.
hung them on my door at my shop after hours.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
someday it will happen.
All right.
okay, you should just drop it off at my place.
You said that before
and
too.
I will go down there because
Uh-huh.
I have a gun I need to take down there.
I do need to go see Gene, which is
Is on the way.
Gene's further than Black Ice, so I'll hit those both when I do that.
Which, by the way, did you know he was going to move?
Gene,
He was.
he's been talking about it.
This close, but then it
Yeah.
fell through.
I know.
So,
He's been talking about it for years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another tangent. Okay, go ahead, Taco. So, black ice coatings.
Use the code SLICKERY. I don't know what it'll get you, but it's fun to
Slickery.
say.
Slickery. Well, that's
It is slickery.
that's another
Black ice
tangent that I'm not
coatings.
going to go down. Go ahead, next.
All right. And Utah air guns.
Utah air guns.
Utah Air Guns.
Who needs primers?
Not Utah Air Guns.
That'd be cool if you could put a primer in it
They
anyway.
got buckets and buckets of pellets.
Did they?
And that's all you
I
need.
don't know.
It's pellets.
Every time I go, and there's just piles of them.
Well, they just recycle all of them out of the range, don't they? Just kind of.
Oh, yeah. Here, tap that one back into shape and put it back in the tin. Yeah, that's what they do. Did you see their squirrel hunt? They killed like 1,700 squirrels or something.
What?
I could be wrong. Maybe it was 170. I don't remember now.
170.
Let's say 17.
1,700.
Let's just say 17.
They killed 12 squirrels on their hunt.
Okay.
17.
How many of them were there?
I don't know. They go out to this. I think it's a farm in California, and
Really?
the guy's like, "Yeah, take care of these ground
Well,
squirrels."
I hope they
They're tearing up
saved them
the
because
place."
they're delicious.
Ground squirrels?
Oh yeah,
They probably didn't, but I don't
they
know.
are. Yeah,
But they killed,
squirrel brains. Haven't you had squirrel brains?
They killed piles of them.
Well, I hope they
And there's
didn't waste
probably
them.
video.
Like I used to rabbits until I saw the light. And Jim Heffel Finger showed me the way.
I still want his recipes that he has.
This is the way.
Yeah.
Dine people, this is the way. I'm sure he'll give it to you.
Maybe. I have his book that he wrote on
Deer?
on deer.
I'll buy that book from you.
Okay. I'll
I'm
give it
serious.
to you if you want to borrow it.
I'll buy it from you if you want to sell it.
I don't need to sell it. He didn't charge me for it.
I think what Stan's saying is he doesn't want. He wants to pay you for it, so then he doesn't have any obligation
To give it back.
to keep track of it.
Because I'm starting a collection. I'm
'Cause he might
Jim's
lose it.
number one fan.
You would probably.
I'm starting a fan club. A Jim
would-
Finger.
I did
fan
read
club.
a bit of it, not a lot of it. It's a scientific book
Yes.
on deer habits and.
Did you know deer used to have fangs? They're canines.
Okay.
True story.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm starting a collection, so I'll buy that.
I
from
will
you.
bring it to you
Okay.
next time.
Excellent.
It's well written. It's just you would appreciate it.
I love it. In fact, my daughter's boyfriend is reading mine. I loaned mine to him, so I'm without text.
Oh.
So I got to have something, for my Sunday reading.
On that note,
Taco's over here going,
On that note,
use the code Air Candy at Utah Air Guns. You'll save, or actually, you'll get free shipping and free turret stickers.
really? Air
And
candy?
you'll get cool stuff.
Really?
Oh yeah,
No kidding. What kind of stickers?
turret stickers for your scope. So you dial it in, put
Yeah.
the sticker on it, and go. That's a 200-yard shot. Click, click, right to the 200
No
sticker.
way. Really?
it's more like 30 yards
Like
and then
40 and then
40,
45.
50, 60.
Whatever.
This one is a 1,000-yard
So I
shot.
was going to say, hey, if it goes out to 1,000,
click,
that'd, yeah.
Of course. You guys can't do that?
Would it even go 1,000 yards? Even like this?
Sure.
Would they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
A slug could get close.
We
if
should
you
see how far you can
catapulted
stretch.
it out there.
You can stretch an air gun.
Speaking of
Long
their
range
squirrel
precision.
hunt, their squirrel hunt last year, they have video of a kill shot on a ground squirrel with the 22 caliber air gun.
Okay.
I think it was 560 yards.
No way.
It's documented.
You know why? I don't know why I'm being critical because I love air guns, but that's cool. 560 yards with an air
I think
gun.
that's what it was. It was very close to
I'm
that.
going to have to look
Now, the
into
guy,
this.
he had a spotter and they did walk in
Sure.
the shot.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
But, yeah,
Cool. So
that
that's,
little guy rolled right down the hill.
yeah. So, yeah, check them out. That's awesome. I don't believe you, but that would be cool. Utah
I'm
air
not
guns.
the one who said it. It's them.
Okay.
So you're calling.
It's documented then.
You're calling Justin a liar.
I'm not calling Justin a liar.
Justin,
I'm saying,
Stan-
Justin, take me with you. I want to do this.
Is calling you a liar to your face.
Take me with you because I want to do long range air gun shooting.
Do you have an air gun?
He does.
Good answer.
Why do I need one? The Taco has one. You have one. Why do I need one?
Okay, good point. Let's get into listener feedback before we get off on another tangent.
All right, so this first one is from Sean, and he says, "Hello all. Generally, I enjoy your show, But you can tell this is going to be critical.
All right.
It says, but
Take it.
the bit Taco did talking about training and suggesting that if you always trained with a draw and one shot, or a draw, one shot, reload, one shot, and suggesting that if you train like that, then that is how you'll fight, I think is silly. Do you think that a USPSA shooter is going to treat a defensive situation like he would a 32-round field course? Of course not. And I'm sure USPSA shooter is not going to be lulled into 2 shots on everything mindset either. Anyway, feel free to discuss or not. Keep up the good work.
Well, here's where that information comes from. Is it Sean?
Yes.
The reason why that came up is because law enforcement had that very problem where they were training people very specifically 1 shot, 2 shot, whatever, reload, this and that, and it did affect their performance in active shooter situation. So you can think what you want, but the evidence out there proves otherwise. I agree with you. There are great shooters. I'm not saying competitive shooting will make you a bad shooter, because it will not. There is
It'll make you a
evidence
better,
that it makes you a better shooter. But if you train with specific patterns and you stick to those specific patterns all the time, you develop bad habits. Mm-hmm. And they do affect you in a stressful self-defense situation.
Yeah, and those are, they call them training scars.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I sent him a link to a book and an article about
What was the name of the book?
I forget, but
That's a weird name.
I forget by I don't know who.
I forget by
I don't know who.
yeah.
May I chime in as well?
Please.
Masada, you actually talked about that specifically in the was it the North Glen shooting with the FBI? Mm-hmm. They learned a lot of things from that. Those guys, two of the guys that were gentlemen that were killed, the FBI officers, had 5-round
Revolvers.
snub nose.
Yeah.
And they determined a lot of things from this, and that they were outgunned. Although they did have M16s, and some of them had semi-automatics, but not all of them did.
Right.
And
Well, this was a time where that was kind of.
but one of the training
transition
thing was they didn't carry their ammo where they could get to it. It was loose in a pocket.
Yeah.
And the guy was emptying and looking, not loading with precision and with,
Right.
urgency. Mm-hmm. But part of that was from the way they trained.
Yeah. And at best, they would have loose pouches that had loose rounds in a pouch on their belt.
And they were detectives. The two of them were detectives,
Right.
or not necessarily like special officers for that, but they
Right.
were undergunned, but trained in such a manner that was one of the things that at least Masada, you relayed to us that you can get scars from. Also, another thing is shooting and then just not. It looks funny, but you see the guys that scan.
Look around, look over their shoulder, and this and that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It does look silly.
It does look
But
silly.
I understand why they do it.
Yeah.
So if you train in one target, boom, done. Okay, what's next? And you're in a situation like that. I don't know. It'd be.
There's another book that I have, and it was a customer of mine that wrote it, that sent it to me. And I can't remember the name of it, but it is all based on the Newhall shootings, I think is what it was called. Kind of the same time period, I think early 80s. It's a very similar situation where cops roll up on this car and they just get blasted. And other guys roll in and they get killed, and so there's a lot of training that they have changed because of situations like the shooting you're talking about, and this one because of the training scars.
Yeah.
That you mentioned.
Now I will say that I agree with Sean in that.
You're just trying to play
No.
nice. now.
Okay. Just because you train doesn't mean that you will have to do that.
Right.
So
There's also
it's
the element.
There's a likelihood that when the stress is up and your fine motor skills are gone,
Right.
then you're going to revert to what you have practiced over
Right.
and over and over.
Now, I would dare say any IPSC shooter would do way better than.
Oh yeah. than the average patrol officer.
No
I would
lie.
agree with
I mean,
that.
those guys, and even IDPA.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you read the book about the stakeout squad? Is it Jim Cirillo and?
That's the one that I was going to say. That's the book.
Oh, is that the book?
Yeah. I don't know what. I can't remember what.
I loaned mine to somebody. I think it was Tommy, and I have not seen it since.
Really?
Which makes me sad because I want to read it again. So I'm gonna have to find it. But that is an amazing book, and those guys were hardcore competition shooters. In all the shootings, I don't think there is another police, not force, but group.
Unit.
That's what I was looking
Just
for.
say unit.
That had more shootings
than Jim
those
Cirillo.
guys. And if I remember right, all the rounds that they fired, they had one that didn't meet its target.
One miss.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Now
I'm pretty certain. I will stand
The Boston
by that.
Marathon bomber was like 191 rounds fired on that guy.
Right.
Oh, geez.
But you got to understand also, these guys were staking out places. They're sitting in the back room at the grocery store going, we know somebody's going to hit this store this
And
week.
so they were ready.
And they're sitting there watching, and they just come out, yeah, police! And just gun them down. It was different times back then.
I guess.
So, different situation than them being surprised by somebody. And
the other thing, too, is he talked about training scars in the book, and he said that one of the things that they practiced, I think they had 6-shot revolvers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they would, in their practice, or for the qualifier, it only required 5 shots. Mm-hmm. And so they found that they would only shoot 5 of their 6 shots.
And leave a round in and dump it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just kind of interesting.
Yeah,
but
it's that's a very generalized answer to a very specific question that you were asked.
Basically, Sean, you're wrong.
And you're right.
And you're right. No, the takeaway from it is that when you go out to practice, you need to vary what you do.
Yeah.
So instead of just taking the one shot,
doing
reload,
the same thing over and over again, and there's no good reason to do the exact same thing over and over again. It's not going to help you, and by varying it, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Then we got another one from Bendy.
May I throw one thing into that though too? I know. But the point is, go into IDP if you're just shooting on your own. Mm-hmm. Well, first you ought to learn what's going to happen to you after you shoot. So get some training. Mm-hmm. Go to a Mag 40 course. Yep. Highly recommend that. Mm-hmm. Find out what the legality is to carry and what you're going to have to do. But then go find an IDPA group somewhere or IPSC.
Yeah.
Because my eyes were opened up 10 times over what I thought I knew before I started shooting.
Moving and
shooting and communicating and manipulating the gun under a time limit gives you a little teeny bit of stress.
Yeah.
Nothing comparable to what the adrenaline you'd have if somebody was shooting back at you.
Right.
Yeah.
Go to a course if you want some training that's not going to leave any scars like that. That's going to vary.
IDPA will make you a better
shooter. At night. Take a flashlight out too.
Yeah. For weapon mounted light, learn how to use it.
Yeah, it's surprising when you do a night shoot, like muzzle flash, some of the things that
you don't anticipate and how they affect
and then
you.
It does affect. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, all right.
Bendy. Let's get back to Bendy.
Yeah, Bendy writes in and he says, "Hey dudes, I am starting to piece together a new AR, and this time I am wanting a cartridge that is more capable of longer ranges and hunting. I was originally planning on a 6-ARC, but the support in the market is not great. I am starting to reconsider the 6.5 Grendel as it currently has more options available. I also cast, and I am confident it won't be too hard to make my own plinking bullets for a 6.5, but I don't know about the 6mm not letting due to the increased velocity. Which would you prefer, and do you have any molds that you like for either cartridge? Thanks for the great show. I never miss an episode. P.S. Thanks for all the airgun content. I now have more places to spend my money."
Like we need that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple things. 6-ARC versus 6.5 Grendel. They're very similar. I mean, it's basically the same case, but
224 Grendel or 224 Valkyrie, very very similar.
Yeah, but
also the 6.8 SPC, very very similar.
Well, those two have the same parent cartridge of the 6.8 SPC, but we're talking about the 6-ARC
versus
and the
the
6
6.5.
Grendel, 6.5 Grendel, which
Stay on topic, Stan.
use.
I am. I'm waiting for you.
Same
Yeah.
same parent cartridge
Yeah.
of 6.5 Grendel ish. So
It's the 760
you
by
can
39
actually
Russian.
Yeah,
is
you
what
can
it is.
actually make the 6 arc brass out of 6.5 Grendel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I do have the 6 arc in a bolt action, and it's pretty sweet. I need to do a video on that, but that is in a bolt action versus the AR.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very capable cartridge. I mean, awesome.
So what would you
In the
point toward,
AR-15
the 6.5 Grendel or the 6 Arc?
The support is not there right now, but I guarantee the 6 arc will be probably
You just got a stand guarantee.
probably more popular, I think, than the 6.5 in time.
Yeah, in
Personally. Well, okay, I guarantee my opinion is that. But having said that, I have the 6.5 in a bolt. A little Howa, my Howa.
Isn't that a fun little cartridge?
Love that thing.
Yeah.
The ballistics on it, 124 grain at 500 yards is faster than a 308, 147 round grain ball.
Yeah.
Now you can get better bullets for 308, which makes it more competitive.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But for a light recoiling, flat shooting, 124 grains, it's almost 130, which you can take deer with easily.
I would say
That might be the advantage of it is that it'd probably have heavier bullets.
yes.
Maybe a little better for hunting animals. Now, as far as a self-defense round, I think the 6 arc is going to just take over.
So if you're going to hunt people,
People versus
Self-defense
animals.
against people.
I would say it depends on what distances you want to shoot. I think the 6 arc is going to give you a little bit, with the higher BC bullets, you'll be able to stretch it out a little farther. But the 6.5 Grendel, it's a fun gun. We were shooting my buddies out to 500 yards the other day.
so it sounds to me, from what I'm hearing from you two, the 6.5 Grendel is the safer way to go right now, but the 6 Arc may give you more benefits in the long run.
Yeah, probably.
As far as leading, you just have to keep your velocity down. It doesn't matter what gun you shoot, under 2,100 feet per second. As far as leading goes, if you're coated.
And you use a gas check, you can put it up faster.
Okay.
Yeah. So
With a gas check.
a lot of it depends on alloy. Like
Okay.
if you cast them out of the harder lead and gas check them and coat them, you can send them out decently fast.
How fast? I'm very specific. asking
I'm not going to
because-
say how fast because let's just say somebody wrote in, and a comment, and they said that they're shooting some cast bullets and they're 270, and they're pushing them like 2,800, but
Gas checked.
specific. I mean, they were using I think it was linotype or maybe a little harder.
Okay.
And they're double coating them and gas check. There's different things you can do, like people will heat treat their bullets to make them harder.
Really?
But it's hard to just throw out a velocity number because
Yeah.
then if Joe
There's
average
so many
Joe
variables
whatever
that play into it.
cranks up his pot and he's using wheel weight alloy and he's like, Taco said you could do this at 2,800 feet per second. All of mine are just blowing apart.
Yeah,
They're like,
spinning.
spinning.
All I have is the lineman manual, just what it said, and it says pretty much 2,100 feet per second, and that's a blanket statement.
That's like about where I push my plane based bullets to about 2,000, 2,100.
Wow. 300 blackout.
You remember my 30-06 pistol, right?
Yeah.
That we took that and shot. Anyways,
Yes.
a while back is the Encore with the 30-06 barrel, and we have a long eye relief scope on it. We were shooting that out to I think it was 300 yards.
Okay.
And those ones were a little bit harder cast bullets, coated, and I believe those ones, I can't remember if they were gas checked or plane based, but they're going out about 2,100 feet per second.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but
Well, there you go. But I love the 6.5 Grendel. Don't have the ARC. I'd like to get an ARC. I'll probably get one. But I've got an AR-15 in the 6.5 Grendel Type 2.
You should have Kenny build you a little 6 arc and some dies to match it.
I should have Kenny build me a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I really should. I'm going to start saving up.
Here's the cool thing about it.
I've got a Kenny fund right now.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Kenny, Desert Precision Gunworks.
Yeah.
He's making his own dies and so he's using the same reamer for the barrels and dies, I believe.
Yeah.
So doing that, I mean, how it's matching it really, really
The
closely.
dive to cast your bullets.
Yeah, well, the die for your barrel, so they have like almost identical
Does he have?
chamber.
I got
Well, did he do He did your 22 Creed, right?
He did my 9mm bolt action, my 22
That
Creed
sounds
more.
like so much fun. Dang it!
I know,
9mm
it's-
bolt action.
And then he's also working on the 35 Taco Teeny cartridge with me, and
Taco Teeny.
yep, I just need to send him a couple guns, and he's getting the reamers made, and we're gonna be doing some
I think
testing.
we ought to go down and visit.
Arizona,
Yeah, where is he in Arizona?
Lake
Havasu?
Havasu.
Wow, he used to be down in the bottom
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
near California.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Anyway,
yeah.
to answer
on topic.
Yes.
Stay on topic.
Both of those cartridges are going to be fine.
Stan,
The
your
6R.
computer's down.
Is everything okay?
Anyway, I love the 6.5, and that don't you think the Arc is going to have a huge following though? I mean,
Yeah, I believe, but
as much
it's
hype as
crazy,
Hornady
though.
put into it.
It's crazy how much better of a cartridge it is in a bolt action.
Exactly.
Like the AR-15, you can only go up to certain pressures, and
Yeah.
And you get lower velocities than the bolt action. You can go higher pressures. Hornady they've released their load data for it, and they have specific AR load data and
yeah.
bolt gun load data.
But see, they're talking about changing the NATO cartridge, and if they did, that could stay in the current M16 platform. The size form fits.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
far more.
they've been talking about that
I know, I
forever.
know.
Like, I don't know, what, 15 years?
Well, actually, since it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so...
223 is too anemic. Oh, it's the most powerful cartridge in the world.
Yeah.
If you get hit with one of these, it'll blow a hole in you. That's me doing an anti-gunner.
Yeah.
The 5.56 223 with a 30-round mag clip, the most powerful gun in the world.
Although
it's meant to kill and destroy.
Although I will say, the Kyle Rittenhouse, when he was on the ground and he shot the dude who was right above him,
Yeah.
just blew out his arm was just gone, like his bicep. So
3,100 feet per
yeah,
second
at
point blank range.
man,
Yeah.
that's
It's a little different.
Yeah,
it
it
is
is.
different.
Anyway,
Stay
okay.
on topic. Stay on topic.
Next.
All right. And then Kevin C. writes in and he says, Dear Concealed Taco Dudes, listening to the latest episode, someone mentioned Eric Shelton.
Shelton.
That brought back fond memories of the gun dudes.
Shelton's mom. There you go.
Oh, geez.
Good one.
Thanks.
A couple other things came to mind. The Unnamed Trucker and his Road Gunner podcast.
Yeah.
You can't burn this. And then he says, I wonder what happened to Tom. And
Yeah, we all do.
yeah, Tom was doing a podcast. What was
He's
it
still
called?
doing the Paracast, I
Paracast.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
So look at the Paracast podcast.
Yeah, check it out. And then he says, keep up the good work. Looking forward to my new holster and car rescue tools.
Oh, yeah.
He says, I scored a sweet 10mm 1911 on Gunbroker. I haven't had the chance to shoot it yet. Bought home gold or ammo for it at Palmetto.
Oh, but home gold.
Home gold.
Huh.
Bought home gold?
I don't know. Maybe
It's as expensive as gold.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're going to expense in or invest in heavy metals,
Yeah.
yeah, so that
Precious
10
metals?
that 10 mil
'Kay.
home defense stuff is pretty expensive.
Yes,
And
it
then
is.
Dwayne M., he writes in and says, Jason, I appreciate your quick work to get this out to me. I know you're quite busy this time of year. I just wanted to drop you a quick note and tell you I enjoy the podcast a lot. I've learned some new stuff, and you guys have a good dynamic. I also enjoy the prepping section that you all do occasionally and hope to see it become a more regular feature in the future. Hot lead and dry powder.
Nice. That one came to me. There was a customer just got a holster back, and I think he's already ordered something else too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You make pretty good holsters, Jason. I got to tell you that.
they're all right.
Yeah.
But
Let's slide right into what we did with guns.
okay, let's do it.
Okay, Stan, have you done anything? You've had the whole
You've
week
been
off.
on vacation.
I've been slaving for my wife
Oh, yeah.
all week.
I thought she wasn't at home.
Why would that be?
Or was that the
No,
last
that was
vacation?
That was the last
It was a
vacation,
double
like 2 months
vacation.
ago. Yeah, the double. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even go
Hey, what
shooting.
happens on double vacation stays on double vacation. I'm not going to talk about that here, but no, I've been working on my house. See,
House and Jeep.
house and Jeep, which I'm this close. I got a '99 Jeep Cherokee. I was going to drive it over, but I didn't. I don't have the emissions on it yet, and my temporary expired Saturday. So
I did invite Stan to come over and do some casting this week, and he denied it.
I did.
Yeah, rejected.
That
Hey,
hurts.
you know, I do have a leash,
Extra
and
painful.
it's about this long, and you know, but I'm actually this long. She was okay with me coming tonight because she had my undivided attention for the whole week.
Oh, nice.
So you got rewarded by
Yes,
a
you
couple
yes you
hours
can
out.
go. She gave me my man card and let me out of the house.
All right.
No, I
I'm
haven't
only
done
putting
anything
a
on
quarter
it.
tank of gas in your car. So hurry back.
So actually, I do have a problem, and I think I'm going to take it up to what's that place across the street from University Mall? The gun shop, not Gunny's. It's down from there.
Ready Gunner.
Reddy Gunner. Apparently, he knows a little bit more about ARs than I do. I'm going to take my brother took his AR to him that wasn't functioning, and they put in a different gas tube and this and that and block and got it to functioning. My son-in-law's AR-10 isn't working. I've tried all kinds of different things, switched the bolts, different gas tube, adjustable gas tube, and I can't get it to run. It's just
What does
Just
it do?
won't cycle.
it won't pick up the rounds. I've tried different magazines. They're all PMags, and they work in mine.
Was it what
It's
kind
ejecting.
of lower was it?
Huh?
What kind of lower?
I think they're palmettos. I bought 3 of them. And one for my father-in-law, one for the midget, and one for my son-in-law.
Was the whole AR-10 from Palmetto?
No, just the parts.
Just the lower?
Complete parts. It's the barrel that I sold to you.
Oh.
So it's not your barrel, is it? You might have sold me a bad barrel.
I gave you a bad barrel.
Oh.
But it'll eject. And I've tried different loads too, hotter, colder. I just can't get it. So I'm going to take it in and just see what they say.
Yeah.
Maybe a stronger spring, weaker spring, heavier buffer, lighter buffer, whatever.
That could be.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, how about you? Did you guys do anything with guns?
I actually cleaned up my Swedish Mauser stock and got it oiled and buffed, and it's looking good. Started putting it together and realized, so it didn't have, when I got it from you, Taco, it didn't have the upper handguard and the ring that holds it in. So when I ordered the new stock, I got those pieces. You have to take the rear sight off to get that ring on, and I don't have a decent enough punch to get, you have to punch a pin out to do it.
You do know which direction to punch it, right?
And I don't know that either. So I've made a call to Gene, and I'm going to take it down to him. And
yeah, just have him-
yeah.
You know, they sell punches.
I know, but this is where I'm at. Okay, I'm like that. I get to a point with something like this that it's like, this should be pretty easy. I took it apart. I know how to put it back together, but this piece wasn't there. I looked at it. I played with it for like 10 minutes, trying to. There's got to be a way. You know, one of those puzzles that makes you think too hard.
Square peg,
Yeah.
round hole. Square peg,
And
round hole.
I kind of banged on it a little bit, and I just thought, you know what? I don't have time to screw with this and wreck it. I know a guy, and I know
Actually,
he'll take
better to
care
let
of
Gene
me.
do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So which side do you punch it from the left to the right, out like the Chinese SKSs,
So
and like the AR?
yeah. So,
So it's a wedge
okay.
pin.
It depends on which way you're looking.
Yeah.
You're looking down the barrel.
Yeah, holding it
If you're
Like
you're
you're-
behind
if you're
it
the
from the
shooter.
breach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then things,
left to right.
yeah, things go in right
To
to
left.
left, and so to punch them out, you go left to right. So
Okay.
Swedish
so that's,
Mauser.
that's what I did. That's all I had. Yeah. Every spare moment that I've had, which have not been a lot, I've been on my bike, and it's been glorious.
nice. All right. Well, I did a lot of things.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now,
What do you have over there, Taco?
yeah, so show and tell. Look at these. So I did a bunch of casting this week. I think
Wow, these sound fantastic.
shake them. Oh yeah. So I made a bunch a 45 ACP. They're just some 230 grain round nose. And I made some 45 Colt, like semi-wad cutter type bullets, and some 300 Blackout. Man, I tell you,
That's a Blackout?
No, the smaller one.
Oh, yeah, the
and
taco
then
bullets.
the bigger one is
this one's
the taco bullet, the 225 grain.
Oh, 225, okay.
Yeah, and then the bigger one is a 315 grain 338 bullet, or the 338 Spectre.
The Spectre.
So I did some more casting with that. I ended up casting probably about 150 pounds of bullets this week.
Wow.
I was doing that in the evenings for, I think, three evenings or something, and then all day today. So
You need a hobby.
yeah.
So how did you get the patina on this? Or
Okay, so that one is kind of cool. I've been playing around with the different coatings.
So you used gold and green to make it look like a brass patina.
So I did a copper.
Or a copper
I was
color.
going to say, that's more copper.
Yeah, I meant
Yeah.
copper, yeah.
So I did a copper, and then I did a single coat of the high-tech coating green, and it turned out looking really cool. Like it looks like old.
That's the single coat of green?
Yeah.
Those are going to look
Is that
awesome
what-
going down.
It has the copper underneath,
Oh, okay. So one
And
coat of
then
copper and then one coat of
two
green.
coats of copper and one coat of
There you go.
the green.
Those are going to look sweet.
Now, I
flying out of
understand-
the barrel.
Yeah, you can probably see them. And these,
Depending on the lighting.
yeah.
45s you can actually see when you're
Well,
shooting.
22s you can see them, yeah. About
Yeah.
the same speed.
Yeah.
Well, no.
22 is a little faster
Yeah.
than 45. But yeah, you get, if you're doing it at kind of dusk or whatever, then
You
you
see
get
it
the
go-
right lighting, you can
Yeah.
see the bullets. It's pretty cool.
So with this high-tech coating, tell us the advantage of that.
Okay, so powder coating versus high-tech coating, I've been kind of just playing around with some of that stuff, just experimenting. And I guess the benefits of high-tech coating is that you can do them in large batches, but you liquefy the powder
With
like acetone, which is
acetone.
yeah, good enough to remove fingernail polish or the inside of your lungs.
Or the inside of your brain.
Yeah, that too.
So do you have a respirator for that?
Yeah,
Pretty good
you need
respirator,
to-
right?
Yeah, so you need to wear something because you don't want to liquefy your
I know
lungs.
covering airplanes with the fabric and the polyfiber, you got to use acetone for a lot of it.
Ooh.
And you got to wear gloves, and you don't want to be stuck anywhere because it'll knock you right out. That stuff's
That's
strong.
potent. Yeah.
But anyway, these look smoother, much smoother than
Yeah, so it's kind of like a
non-clumpy.
yeah.
Now,
you
this
don't
one,
get like the bare spots on them. And some people who do powder coating on the cast bullets, they will individually put the bullets on a tray to bake them,
Oh,
and then those ones turn out looking amazing. But
Right.
I'm
a whole lot more effort.
yeah,
in it.
it takes a lot more time.
Yeah.
well, when they shoot as many as you shoot.
Well, and Travis from Buckeye Targets, he likes to use like old ammo. What do you call those things?
The trays. That
The trays, yeah. When you take a box of ammo,
cartridges
open
come
it
in.
up.
Yeah?
So he'll take and powder coat the bullets, and then he puts them in the tray, nose down. But he gets a little bit of powder on his gloves, so that when you touch it, it doesn't take the powder coat off the bullets. And he'll load up these trays and then put them down on a baking tray. Bake 'em.
I was going to
So
say the
flip 'em
plastic
over.
will
Yeah.
melt in the
no,
oven.
so he flips it over and
Unless he's using his Easy Bake Oven.
yeah, he uses.
That I think he told me he had
He's
back
more
when he was a
anal
little boy.
retentive than you are,
I
Taco.
know, I know, right? So yeah. Anyways, I cast and coated a ton of bullets, but I had a ton of these 300 blackouts cast up, and then I was working on the final coating with the high-tech coating, but then my wife couldn't pick up my daughter from a birthday party, so I had to cut it short.
Freeze.
And so it ruined the coating,
Aw.
and so I dumped them all back in the melting pot, and I had,
Oh,
I don't know, it was close to 1,000 of them.
Oh,
it was horrible.
jeez.
So then I sat down and cranked out.
cried.
I cried through my tears. I
I
cranked
heard
out a
sat
bunch
down
more.
and I thought, please say cried.
So, anyways, I finished my AR-10, and also, what else did I do this week? I loaded up a bunch of ammo, and I got out, took my air guns out, and did some shooting. And
I have not shot my air guns in weeks. I need
Yeah.
to do that.
you should But yeah, anyways, I've been a casting machine lately. Oh,
Actually,
and
I did do something. Or did I already talk about this? No, go ahead. I mounted my. I got a scope for my daughter
oh, nice.
for her little
what'd you
freeway.
get?
Actually, I went with the Hawk. Believe it or not, it was a Hawk with a mil spec. As far as lower end scopes go, I did a little
Pretty decent.
hunting around. It's actually pretty decent. The aluminum's a little light. The tube might not be combat ready.
Yeah.
But they're made in England. Or at least it's an English brand, and they're famous
Made in
for
China.
20. Famous for 22. I mean, it's made in China. I'm sure it is. But the glass is probably the best I've seen for $100.
Wow.
There's a guy named Cyclops that does scope reviews.
Hmm.
He's one-eyed guy. Does scope reviews.
Oh,
I'm sure his one eye is twice as good. But anyway, he suggested it, and I found one, for like $109 and put it on there. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, with all this casting, I finally pulled out that casting machine. What is it, a 50-pound pot?
Oh, your big one.
The big one, yeah. Well, like it's the blue one that has the handle that you feel. It uses 2 cavity molds, and you fill both cavities at the same time.
Oh,
it has
yeah.
2 spouts.
Holy crap.
And so I was using that, and it's, man, after doing a bunch of casting earlier in the week and just making my
lift
whole.
that out of there?
Oh, I had to get Noah to help lift it, because if you have lead in the pot plus the whole thing, it's pretty heavy. But yeah, so you should come over and use the old man caster. It's like you just use one.
Called you an old man.
Hey,
Sam.
I felt like an old man today, and using that was great. Like just for simplifying,
No
like
kidding.
not lifting anything, just pulling that handle. Yeah,
I can do that.
Yeah, you can pull
You
a
can
handle.
pull a handle?
Pull a handle.
Nice.
So that's what I did with guns.
Awesome.
Let's hit our last 2 sponsors. Mag Holder at magholder.com, the finest horizontal mag carriers out there. They are really nice.
Use coupon code.
He has so many. Get in the van. I have Candy, Mag Holder
Holder
Mama,
Mama.
which is spelled M-A-M-A.
Yes.
Mama?
Mama.
Mammy.
Mama.
Anyway,
Oh, mama.
I make my own mag holders, my own mag carriers, I should say. I don't want Mark to sue me for using
The tactical vertical mag
Right.
holders, which are spectacular, by the way.
But
Competition type stuff.
I use a mag holder. I have a mag holder on my hip right now.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
He makes good stuff. So go check him out
Well,
at magholder.com.
When you got a gut, see that little spot right there? It just hides right in.
Did
the
you
gut
just call me
behind the-
fat, Stan?
No, you're not fat because you ride a bike all the time. I ride a tractor, so I'm expected to be fat.
No, I've got some overhang, and it's nice to have it horizontal. Not vertical.
There you go. That's what it's
Yeah.
for.
So check out magholder, magholder.com. Concealment Solutions. I just got a batch of new Kydex patterns in that I'm really excited for. If
Did you get mine?
I did.
Ooh, that means
It came in Friday.
So for the listeners, I ordered a
Hello,
draw.
Kitty.
Yeah, Hello Kitty with flying pigs and
That's
polka dots.
for the high point.
Well, no, that was
No,
done.
that one's already done. So the CZ P10F.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I wanted a drop leg holster for that.
love
handgun.
that. Love my drop holster.
The drop
Yeah.
holder.
Drop holster, excuse me,
But yeah, so I'm anxious to get that.
with the
But-
hinge on it.
But Taco always just wants black. And I said, dude, you gotta pick something different. Something is a custom holster. Let's make it. Doesn't have to be flashy.
The funny thing is, you
Black
sent me,
holsters matter too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Let's not be
true.
racist.
It's true.
Jacist. You
Jacist.
stinking jacist. You're a colorist too,
I
aren't
was
you?
trying to convince you to go with the bacon.
He was trying to convince me to go with the white on white.
White on
white on white.
What, Star Wars?
Yeah.
I don't remember sending you any white on white, but
No, it's funny though. He sent me like this whole list of
I'm like-
all these Kydex things.
well, they weren't super bright and obnoxious colors. They were. I sent you some battle worn stuff.
I know.
Which
I
did
looked
get
at
2 different battle worn Kydexes in that are pretty cool.
I looked at them and I was like,
And then
Until you saw the one, which is
black on black. I mean,
it I've never seen it before, but apparently it is a licensed pattern from these guys. It's a camo. Is it Prime 1 or something like that?
I don't know. I just looked at one that didn't look horrible.
Weird. It basically looks like a variation of Black Cryptek.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But it's more black. It's more
If you were to be a
subtle than
cowboy,
Cryptek.
what color would your hat be? Black.
Brown.
Yours would be white.
I have a brown cowboy hat.
Mine would be white.
White cowboy hats are for dandies.
That's right. And for heroes. For good guys.
Whatever. So anyway.
Yeah, bad guys always wear black. Why did you guys? Am I the bad guy?
You're the bad guy here. I can't be the bad guy. I'm the helpless, harmless old guy.
So anyway, new patterns that are coming. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I posted some pictures of a drop leg and mag carriers that I did in this zombie green ghost flame with a zombie green liner on the inside. Looked absolutely awesome. So I have more of that. I have that same pattern in red, in blue, and in, believe it or not, it's like a flat dark earth flame. So it's kind of a
Cool.
yeah, sandy color.
So can you put that on the website so that those of us that don't know Facebook and
They will get
Instagram?
they will get on the website. I just got them Friday after I was
All right.
finished.
Because I don't do Instagram.
Yeah.
I do Facebook. I guess I
wish-
could see it on Facebook.
I wish I didn't, but yeah.
Facebook
To stay
is just
relevant, I have to.
life that is lost and you never ever get back.
Yeah. So anyway, that's some new stuff coming you can check out. And as always, if you don't see what you are looking for, whether it's a holster, a gun model, a Kydex pattern on the website, shoot me an email, just jason@concealmentsolutions.com. Kydex especially, there's so much out there that I can get, but I'm not going to stock it because it's like, I think somebody might order this one, and as soon as I have it in stock, no one will want it. But
There you go.
I did a test early on. I made a whole bunch of Glock 19 holsters to kind of get ahead. Every time I did it, Glock 19 holsters fell off. I'm like, are you kidding me? So
you're telling me you have some Glock 19 holsters that you need to get rid of?
Not right now,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah. Anyway,
Because I'll buy one so I can buy a Glock 19.
okay,
You should.
you should.
I should. If you could find one nowadays.
I'm going to make an executive decision, and we are going to skip our news story. We're going to save it for next week because I think it's going to be an interesting one to discuss. But I want to save it when we have a little more time because the topic that we're going to discuss is very personal to me, in my heart. And-
Really? We're not going to talk? That's why I came.
Oh, well, I don't feel bad now. I was feeling a little guilty before, but not now.
Not now.
So the topic that we want to discuss, a couple of scenarios that I experienced in the last couple of weeks. I want to start with the first one. This happened to my daughter, 17 years old, cute girl. She went to the library, city library, Provo, and to get a book. And as she is walking
To get
in,
a what? A book?
it was a book. I know. She was getting a book.
A book. Provo Library.
At Provo Library. As she's walking in, a guy, as she put it, an older guy is walking out. I'm like, how old? He was like...
He must have been 25.
No, he was probably in his 40s, she said. Anyway, as they cross past each other, and he looked like he might have been maybe homeless or not all there, something to that effect. And
Disheveled.
that's a good description, Stan. Anyway, as he passes her, he turns and makes a comment about how good she looks and makes her super uncomfortable. So she goes into the library. This guy turns around and goes back into the library as well. So she's doing her thing and kind of keeping an eye on this guy who's kind of following her through the library.
Stalking.
A little bit. And he eventually leaves as she's at the front counter. There was a problem with her card, and so she had to talk to the librarian instead of just doing the self-checkout thing. And so she's, watching this guy because she's really uncomfortable now. This isn't cool. And as she is walking out, she's like, I'm watching to see where this guy is. I had a plan. If he was in this area, I was going the other way.
You have taught her well.
Anyway, so she exits the library and sees him in front of the library on his bicycle, kind of circling back and forth, looking. And fortunately, she parked really close to the door. She's like, I ran to the car, got in, locked the doors, and got out of there. And I went, I'm glad that you were aware of your situation and what was going on, because that was a bad situation. Let's talk about maybe some things that you could have done better. Like, you were already talking to the librarian. You should have told her, hey, there's a guy in the library or outside the library now that made this comment to me. He's making me, I'm really uncomfortable that he's outside. Do you have somebody that can walk me out to my car, or will you call the police to come and make sure this guy isn't going to do something? Or on the other side of the opening of the doorway entry is a security guy. And she's like, well, he was there too. I'm like, you should have walked over to him and said the same thing. Said, hey, this guy's making me uncomfortable. Would you mind walking me out to my car?
Yeah, doesn't have to be a big deal.
Right.
Don't even have to confront him.
And that guy,
the bad guy,
that security guy, would have made his day.
Yes.
Oh, I get to protect somebody. You know.
Didn't hear about the security guy, but yeah, absolutely.
You know,
two great ideas.
So I was proud that she was aware and kept this guy in her sight so that he didn't come up behind her unaware and, you know, try to haul her off somewhere or whatever.
On his bicycle.
On his bicycle. Nothing wrong with a bicycle stand. Anyway, but we used it as a learning experience too, and to where she could be like, okay, if a situation like that comes up again, I'll have a little better plan. But I was proud of what she did, and that she came and she told us all. She was like excited. I got to tell you what happened to me today. It's like, okay, cool.
You know, it must be weird. I have the same problem. I have girls approaching me all the time.
Yeah. Sure.
Hey,
you're making me
old truck driver.
You're making me feel dirty. Stop looking at me like that.
You know, my youngest is she's doing bodybuilding competitions now.
Wow.
And she goes to the gym, and now she's gotten a little bit of notoriety in it. Every sleazy,
gym troll is
yeah. And I said, why do you go to? Well, I mean, you got to go to the gym. There's nowhere else she can do it. But makes her dad uncomfortable. She said, you don't have to worry, Dad. I pay attention. She tries to go off hours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough for girls. But that's a great. I'm impressed that she was that. Well,
aware.
I guess he.
Yeah.
Actually, he could have been more dangerous if he hadn't said something. Because then she wouldn't have been aware.
Then she wouldn't have been
and wouldn't have noticed him doing the figure eights and stuff like that.
For sure.
Scary.
So, and we've had conversations like this with all of our kids and my wife. Every now and then we sit down and we're like, okay, so what would you do in this scenario? And what would you do in this? And then we talk about good, bad, better options.
You know, the color. Color code comes to mind a little bit. I always tell my daughters, you know, if we're going to a hotel, okay, where's the exit? It's right there. Where's the next one? Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we going to meet if there's a fire?
Yeah.
We're in Disneyland. Okay, well, what are we doing? Where are we going to meet if this happens and stuff? Mm-hmm. What else? But I'm always like, okay, girls, we know, Dad. But to be aware of your situation.
And that's my girls.
Same
in fact,
thing.
All three of my girls right now, they made a quick trip up to the Idaho Hot Springs.
Oh, yeah, Lava Hot Springs.
Lava Hot Springs.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and I love that they like to just go do these trips and road trip and stuff like that. I think that's awesome. That's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, they went to California a while back and this and that. But I always tell them, hey, make sure you aren't clueless and that you're aware of what's going on around you and who's around you all the time. Just be aware. That's all I'm asking.
Another thing she could have done was got right on the phone and called.
And we talked about
your
that
wife
too.
Or you or somebody. Hey, there's this. If something happens, this is where I am.
Yeah. Or I told her, get on the phone with dispatch. You don't need to call 911, but call Provo Orem City Police. dispatch and just say, hey, this is what's going on. And so you've got somebody that maybe is already en route should something happen.
So she got me a tile, my youngest.
You really do have a leash.
Because I'm always losing my keys.
Sure, Stan, that's a tracking device.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Tell me, do you guys use a tracking app on your kids' phones?
I do.
Do your kids all have phones?
Not all of them.
No,
Really?
not all
Okay.
of ours do. We both have young kids.
Well, I think we got phones for my girls when they were like 12 or 13.
Oh, wow.
Because they were playing volleyball and needed,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had to pick them up and stuff. And
But yeah,
I can't find a phone,
I can
Dad.
get on my phone and see where they are.
So you do have that
Yeah,
downloaded.
and they do the same thing to me.
Okay.
Dad, why are you stealing whatever you're supposed to? Leave me alone.
Which app do you use? Which
Just
app
the
do you
one
use?
on the iPhone.
Oh, I don't have an
The
iPhone.
iPhone has their own.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have an
Tracking
iPhone
thing.
either.
Yeah.
But you
I don't
use that.
let my wife track me because you were at Utah Air Guns for 4 hours.
Because I'm a professional and I don't need.
Yeah.
What were you doing at Gunny's? How much did you spend?
None of your business because it was out of my computer business.
It was my gun money.
Gun money.
So anyway,
But
next story.
go okay. Wow.
So this happened.
2 stories tonight.
This happened. I think it was. It might
was
have
this
been
week.
Monday. It was
Yeah.
this week, Monday or Tuesday. So I'm at the shop and I leave. End of the day, take off, get halfway home, which is not very far, and realize, oh, I forgot something. I need to go back. So I turn around, go back. There's a roundabout, right? Right before you get to my shop. I'm just driving, going to the roundabout. There's cars coming in from the other thing. Van pulls in front of me, kind of close, but I didn't have to hit my brakes or anything. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I was kind of close behind him.
Mm-hmm.
The car behind him keeps coming, and to the point where he was literally, I don't know how he didn't hit me. He was about to hit my back wheel, and I laid on the horn. I'm like, dude, wake up. I am right in front of you. This guy gets behind me, flipping me off, just came completely uncorked.
Because you got in front of him.
No.
I
was in the roundabout, which you yield to people in the roundabout.
Yes.
So I didn't do anything
So
wrong.
he came in behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm going, okay. He is flipping me off. He's screaming and yelling. I'm watching him in my rearview mirror, and I'm like pointing back at him with my thumb. I'm like, dude, that was all you, not me. Okay, this is like, what, a couple hundred yards before I turn down the road to my shop?
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm going. So I start turning. I did brake a little hard,
Oh, jeez.
but not crazy.
Okay.
And I turn in. He follows me. And so I go, okay, is this where we're going with this? I'm like, fine, you keep following me, buddy, and we'll see what's going to happen. So those of you who are listening and have never been to my shop, I do
You
live
live at
there.
the shop.
But it's a dirt road, and you veer toward these big
It's not even a
industrial
dirt
buildings.
road. It's like a dirt pathway.
Yeah,
And you have to go through one business
yeah, you're driving.
next to a ditch and a
Yeah.
swamp and a
I'm-
sewer.
I'm tucked way in the back of this row of industrial buildings.
Yeah.
Literally, you feel like you're driving into an area that would be an ideal spot to hide a body. And so I did not speed up. I didn't slow down. I just went my normal pace. And this guy's following me
After
back.
Braking semi-hard.
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 And so I'm like, okay. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do?
Because you got no way out.
No.
That's one way in, one way out.
It is. And so my shop's tucked behind the last building. So I go in, turn, and so he can't see me, park. I get out of my car as quick as I can. Henry's with me. I get Henry out because I'm like, at least he's a diversion and he looks intimidating, even though he'll see you and he'll run right up to you as fast as he can because he's your new best friend.
He'll lick your gun out of your hands.
Right. And I'm like, and I just stood there waiting. I'm like, I'm not going to let this guy have control with me still sitting in the vehicle. That would give him an advantage.
Were you packing?
Of course. Yeah. It stayed where it needed to. And it was under my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't come I'm like, what is going on? So I walk out to the end of the building, and I poke my head around the building, gone. I'm like, okay, that was weird. But I see the guy that lives in the trailer next to my shop, the night watch guy, I see him coming down the road. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask Rocky if he saw it. Hey, Rocky, did you see this red car heading back out as you were coming in? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, where did this guy go? And what's going on? So I go, I'm like, whatever. I go in the shop, take care of what I needed to. It took me 2-3 minutes, get back in my car, and I'm driving out. Well, there's a gap between the first building and the building that I'm in. Mm-hmm. And there's businesses in there, so the guys that work there will park in there and whatever. And he's pulled in there with his back to me. And I'm like, that's weird. And I just keep driving. I don't know if he even saw me. Just before I get to the road, the pavement, to turn back out, this old, like, 90s extended cab Ford pickup comes flying in. Like, I had to hit the brakes so I didn't hit him because he cut the corner, pulling in and heads down the dirt road past me. And I'm like, I don't recognize that guy, and I have never seen that truck before. He just called his buddy. He called his buddy for backup.
You're kidding me.
And so I'm like, I'm not sticking around for this.
Yeah, could have been.
So I just made a right, drove a little bit different way back home in case they came flying out and saw where I was going.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking about a lot of things. And the one thing that I thought about, and afterwards I'm like, okay, this guy could very well come back tomorrow or sometime during the week. And I'm like, what's the most likely scenario if this guy is just completely nuts, which I think he was, or couldn't have been sober, or both. I'm like, he could come back and just start vandalizing my 4Runner. What am I going to do if that happens? I'm like, if I'm in working and I hear breaking glass outside, I'm probably going to stick my head out the door to at least see what's going on. And if that's what's happening, I'm shutting the door, I'm locking it, I'm calling Dwayne at the mill up there, and I'm going to have him block the road with his forklift, and then I'm calling the police to take care of this maniac. But it got me thinking about a lot of things. Honestly, my adrenaline was through the roof for a couple of hours after the situation. But I'm like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
You know, I even was thinking, okay, what happens if somebody comes in, if he comes into the shop, Henry will be right there at the door to greet him. Because Henry hears people pull up and he's on alert, and I've got a new friend walking through that door any minute. I just know it. Well, the way my shop's set up, I have that kind of fake, it's not a fake wall, but it's not permanent.
It's a cubicle.
Either. And I've got 20-foot ceilings.
Yeah, it's a cubicle.
I thought, if somebody comes in and I realize that they're going to be a problem, I'm getting on my table on the other side, and I can look over that wall where they aren't going to be looking, and I will have a nice clear shot from there.
Yeah, what do you do? What else can you do? And it's good to think about that.
So,
Mass talks about armoring up your house too.
Yeah,
you might want to think about putting, a safe spot. Well, your table would protect you with that countertop on it.
Yeah, not so much.
You could hide behind that.
Yeah,
but I mean,
there's places I can go that are
It's not ludicrous.
It would have to travel a long way before it would get to me.
Yeah, well, it's not ludicrous to plan ahead.
Right.
And make it as tilted as much in your favor as you can.
Exactly.
Lights.
Yeah.
Sirens or lack of light.
Yeah. And thinking back on it, I'm like, okay, what could I have done differently that would have
not put your brakes on hard?
Yes, and I did think about it. I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have let that guy get to me like he did. And I'm not the type of person that's going to scream out my window and flip people off. I'm just not that kind of person.
I used to be, but I've calmed down.
Right, but I let him get under my skin, and I'm like, okay, I can't do that. Because that got him worked up.
Yeah.
If I would have just completely ignored him, he probably wouldn't have followed me in there, and it would have just blown over. Mm-hmm. I think people can't get their meds. That's the only thing I can think.
That could be true.
So those are a couple.
Actually, I think Carl actually mentioned that too. The meds. We've had more than one or two people brake check us.
Yeah. In a semi? Yeah. If they don't realize, guess what? I'm just going to keep going right over the top of you.
Yeah, we've had a few. Carl's had one. He put me into the net. I was asleep.
And, really?
And he had to. Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of interesting too because the worst drivers are. I'll tell you right now, from Tremont into Salt Lake.
Yeah. Taco and I were talking about that.
we drive to Boston. We used to go over the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah.
First day we were there, we were 5 lanes over, and we had to get to the left side because you can't go on the underneath. We have to be on the top level.
You don't have the clearance.
Oh crap! And this is rush hour in the morning.
Yeah.
Packed for miles. And we just see the sign. It's like, oh crap! I blinked, and it was like the Red Sea opened up. And I went right over, and I'm like, no way!
Wow!
In New York, they just don't even. The guys blink, the tractors do, and they go. And people just stop.
Yeah, because they're worried about getting run over.
Because they know they're just going to go over.
Yeah.
Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, people are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Most people are, but yeah, the worst part is coming down from Spokane
into
Tremont.
Utah.
Yeah, it's weird because
That's so
you
discouraging.
blink and people will speed up like, oh no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you're not taking my lane.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
It's like, okay, I'll back off, and I've had people do that, and from Tremont to Salt Lake, they'll end up 30 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah.
In traffic, and it's like,
Yeah.
for what?
I have always tried to be the guy who will let people in and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So I think
anyway,
the lesson we learned today is just be nice.
that's it.
And don't break hard.
If you're nice, you have a better chance of not being shot.
Okay. Until next week,
Thanks for listening.
In case somebody's shooting.
stay safe, have fun.
And leave me.
No,
Give me a bike.
No, but do it in a snowstorm because they've got 2-3 hours max.
That would be uncomfortable and miserable.
No, it wouldn't.
I
No.
don't like being cold.
Well, you're only cold for a minute. Seriously, when you start hypothermia,
Yeah.
you warm up and it's a warm glow. I've read about
Yeah.
this. Done a little studying, by the way. But you'll warm up.
You tested your theories?
You'll
yet?
become not yet. You'll become euphoric, get tired, go to sleep, and you're done.